Hey everybody, my name is Noah, welcome back to the show. And so today I decided I want to talk about a very specific subject regarding Warframe once again. Now I was thinking of doing another one of those videos where I commentate over the dev stream, sort of Chris Ray Gun style, like I did in that one video that did extremely well. But I decided I kind of don't want to do those too often until I have enough room in my upload schedule to make it like a regular series. So I decided that I actually wanted to talk about something very, very specific that they talked about in the last dev stream. And if you watched the last dev stream or just looked at the title or thumbnail of this video, you probably know what I'm talking about. I'm of course talking about the changes possibly coming, well actually I think they're pretty much confirmed to be coming, it's just they're subject to change, to the melee system in Warframe. Now, if you've seen either one of my Warframe Let's Plays, which I'm not going to blame you if you haven't, they're not great, I wouldn't recommend it, but if you have seen them, you might notice that I am a strict melee user. I refuse to use anything else unless I'm in a boss battle or on the plains, where I basically have no choice but to use a gun, because if you only use a melee, you're fucked. Like, you're gonna get reamed up the asshole because you can't hit anything. These changes are gonna affect me a lot, and some of them I'm a little worried about, and probably to a lesser extent to most of you out there, they're gonna affect you too. And not all of the necessary questions have been answered yet. So I kind of want to just talk about the changes coming to Melee in Warframe with the Melee 3.0 update that they talked about in the latest dev stream. Now, one of the changes that they're going to be making is that when this update comes out, when Melee 3.0 comes out, you're not going to be able to hit enemies with a melee weapon unless they can see you. It's a good change, but I have a few questions. Now, I think it's a good change because the main reason they're doing this is because of the spin to win thing. If you don't know what that is, essentially players will often go through maps with a whip, and they essentially just kind of spin through maps and kill every enemy in sight, even if they're through walls, like the enemy's just dead. And this is a little bit cheesy. Like, this is kind of like, you know, you're not really playing the game how it's meant to be played. You're not really engaging all that much. You're just spinning over and over again and attacking, and it's bullshit. And lately DE seems to have a big problem with cheese. They're going lactose intolerant. We're seeing that with the Saren rework, how they're making it so that you're no longer able to put spores on her molt, which is something that I've been asking for a while. And now we're seeing it with this, how once this update drops, you're no longer going to be able to spin to win through the map anymore. You're going to have to actually engage in order to kill enemies. Oh my god, it's like a video game. Actually playing the game? What do I look fucking gay to you? And as a matter of fact, we actually saw it way back when they reworked basically every single Warframe in the game. Most notably with Banshee. You know, they took away the ability to just sit in the corner of the map with Soundquake and kill everything. But this kind of worries me. Why don't you just make it so that certain things in the game can't be passed through with melee attacks? It's like, really, I have to be in an enemy's line of sight in order to hit them? What if I'm in a squad and an enemy is running towards one of my teammates? Does that mean I actually have to fucking jump in front of him in order to hit them instead of just hitting them from behind? What about stealth attacks? Because stealth attacks, by nature, they're not looking at you. How are we going to continue doing stealth attacks if they have to look at us in order for us to hit them? Now, I understand they could probably do something to a stealth attacks with the exception, but that's my point, is that there are other things they can do that aren't so absolute. So the next point is they're talking about reducing the range. They're going to bring down the range of a lot of the higher range melee weapons and bring up the range of a lot of the lower end melee weapons. And that sounds great and all, but honestly, if you've seen Mogamu's video on this, I kind of completely agree with him on this point. I think melee weapons should be buffed in terms of range. I personally think that the range of, not necessarily all, but at least most melee weapons should be buffed. Like the base range of the weapon itself, or at the very least, buff the mods that increase range. Okay, so the next point, and this is probably the biggest change that they're gonna do. One thing they're gonna do is that they're gonna make basic attacks and heavy attacks two separate buttons. So it's not necessarily gonna be a charge attack anymore, because they're implying that you're not necessarily gonna have to charge it. Your basic attacks are gonna feed into your combo counter, and your heavy attacks are actually gonna do more damage based on your combo counter. But then once you do the attack, your combo counter gets reset. Now this change sounds pretty good, honestly, because there was a point in Warframe in which heavy attacks or charge attacks were just spammed. Like, that's all people did. And then when Melee 2.0 came out, they became completely irrelevant. Everyone just used basic attacks. So now they're trying to make like a middle ground where you use basic attacks and heavy attacks. And they're also going to be making it so that the amount of hits you need in order to get to the next tier in the combo multiplier isn't going to be exponential anymore. It's just going to be like a set amount of hits that you get to reach the next tier, which I think is a positive change, because trying to get from 3 times to 3.5 times is suicide inducing. So that's a positive change, and I think overall this is honestly a positive change, but I have a few questions about this. What is exactly happening with the combo counter? Because they said in the dev stream that it's no longer going to be affecting melee damage, and so with this change they're actually also going to be buffing the base damage of all melee weapons, and I'll get to that in a minute. I'll get to my thoughts on that in a minute. But that's not all the combo counters are used for. What about mods like Blood Rush and Weeping Wounds that increase your status chance and your critical chance as your combo multiplier goes up? So is the combo counter still going to affect mods like that, or are you going to get rid of mods like that? Are you going to nerf them? I think they have 2 routes to go down. They can either nerf the mods and the increase in the combo multiplier will compensate for that, or they can remove the mods, and then to compensate for the lack of status and critical chance that you now have, they can do the same thing that they're doing with the base damage and buff the critical chance and status chance of all, or at least most, melee weapons. As for the base damage buff, a lot of people have been wondering what number they're going to go with, if they're going to double the base damage. Again, I kind of agree with Mogami on this point in the sense that the only number that seems fair is 3 times. So those are my thoughts on Melee 3.0 changes. I doubt that DE is going to see this video, but if you do, I implore you to please look deeper into these changes before you implement them. I'm sure you will. Like, I trust you, DE. You've earned my trust. And if you can please answer some of these questions in the next dev stream or in a dev workshop, whichever you choose, that would be greatly appreciated. Like I said, I trust you, DE. So yeah, that's the end of the video today. I hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a like if you did, subscribe to the channel for more content like this, and I hope to see you guys in the next video. This is Nio, signing out.